How to choose the right incense for your occasion. This is the topic of today's video. If you don't know who I am, I'm Matt. I'm the owner and operator of Calm Incense. In today's video, I'm going to go through a list of different occasions and what incense to essentially use in each theme, party, festival, whatever you're doing. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's a cleansing. I don't know what you're doing. But in today's video, we're going to talk all about that. We're going to go over the different types as well as the different forms of incense and really when to use each one of them. Of course, you can use them whenever you like or whenever you feel like, but generally these are going to be the best for the atmosphere of the current situation. Now, I first want to let you guys know that smell is a super strong sense human beings have. It is the strongest sense when it comes to eliciting memories of the past. And really, if you smell something bad, just take for example, your mood can really change very quickly. And if you smell something good, maybe it's a nice flower or something, your mood could be almost instantly lifted, which is amazing just to highlight how strong our sense of smell is and really what it can do to an atmosphere. Now, what are the different types of incense? And there's generally 4 incenses that are kind of recognized. I have 2 here. I have the incense stick, I have the cone, and then we're going to talk about the 2 other ones in a second. But the stick is awesome. This is essentially a universal incense, which most people are aware of. Essentially, you light the end of it, it slowly burns down, and it's good for just about everything. That's why most people use them. They also come in a variety of scents, which is really nice in case you're just starting getting used to incense. The next one is the cone, which is tiny and is very different than the stick. With the stick, you have smoke that comes up and it goes around the room. With the cone, it goes down and it can actually create really cool smoke displays if you have a cool holder for it. And this is kind of something that is not going to be around for a long time. They burn quite quickly. With the stick, you normally get 20 to 40 minutes out of it. With the cone, I find maybe 10 minutes if you're lucky. And that being said, I normally use the cone when I'm at work. One of the nice things about it is it doesn't go everywhere all over the room. So if someone else is in your house or in your workspace, you know, they're not going to be like, oh my God, what is that terrible smell? Generally going to be pretty concentrated. I like using it for a pick-me-up. So normally I try to use some type of incense that's going to try and elicit some focus, some concentration. Normally a mint I really like, as opposed to the stick where I'm normally going with some type of, you know, relaxation, meditation related incense, which is just kind of nice and just a nice chill vibe. Of course, you can use just about anything for the stick. It's pretty universal. But this stuff, not going to last as long as the stick. Moving forward, we also have incense coils. I don't have one here, but if you've ever seen a citronella coil, it's just a big round ring, essentially, with a whole bunch of rings on inside of it. I'll put an image up on the screen. These are awesome for outside and long-lasting. They are generally quite strong, and they generally last a long time. So a lot of people use them to get rid of bugs. Of course, there's a whole bunch of uses for them, but this is normally going to be the longest lasting type of incense, as well as a great deterrent of any mosquitoes or stuff like that, which is fantastic if you're sitting outside like I commonly do. Now, the final form of incense that I'm going to talk about today is the resin incense, which is essentially a bowl with like a hard oil or a rubber looking substance inside, and you light a flame underneath, or you have some type of heat element underneath, and then the bowl gets hot, the resin melts, and then it elicits an aroma. I'll put again image up on screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. These are commonly used for ritualistic things. They're normally stronger than other forms of incense, and it does take a little bit more work to get going. Sometimes it requires charcoal instead of just like a candle or something underneath. A little bit more work, but then again, generally you're going to get more out of it than the other types of incense, especially if you're trying to get something big and really stand out. If you've ever been to a church, this is normally what they use. They have some type of coal going and they have an incense over top of it, and you're like, oh my God. That's essentially what a resin incense is. Now, moving forward to the different types of situations, I'm going to start off with trying to relax, as a lot of people when researching incense, they want a calm, cool mood. They probably had a stressful day. What type of incense would we be using in this case and scenario? I would normally go with a sandalwood or a type of lavender, something that's a little lighter and not as strong and can just kind of sit there in the background. And it's nice. It's not overwhelming as you would with like a mint or some type of herb like a rosemary where you're like, wow, that woke me up. That's not what we're going with. If we're doing meditation, if we're just sitting outside having a cup of coffee or tea, we don't want to be overwhelmed with this stuff. So lavender, nice, subtle, soft flower essentially, very nice, as well as a sandalwood, which is, also very nice, and it's pretty subtle. Sandalwood, pretty universal. You'll see a lot of it online. I really like it as well. But those are the two ones I would go to if you haven't experienced any type of incense, just to give you a good idea of where to start off when it comes to relaxation and using incense. Now, when it comes to concentration and focus and getting your work done and maybe like zoning into whatever you're doing, I would normally go with either a rosemary or mint, because they're very strong and they will wake you up. I absolutely adore mint. I use it in just about everything I do just because it smells so good. I love it. It smells fresh. It smells so good. And it is one of those things that will wake you up. This is not something you want to be using when calming down in the middle of the night. You don't want to be using this to kind of fall asleep to more often than not, even though I do sometimes, but that's not the most optimum, shall we say, incense for this type of situation. If I'm trying to concentrate at work, I definitely go with a cone just because it is a quick burn. You can get a whole bunch of smoke in and it just smells good. It's strong, it's concentrated, and you're like, okay, I'm good to go. That is something I would definitely consider using if you're at work. Also doesn't really normally bother a lot of other people. For the actual relaxation, I like the stick, but you can use a whole bunch of stuff if you really want to. When it comes to meditation or relaxation, it just really depends on how long you want to keep it going for. 20 to 40 minutes is normally perfect for me. That's why I like the stick. If you want longer, you can use the other types. Moving forward, romance and intimacy. What are we looking at on date night? I would go more towards the flowers, specifically like a rose or even a jasmine. The reason being is I don't know, they just elicit a romantic environment. They're very natural, they're nice, they're not overwhelming. And when you think of a romantic setting, you normally think of rose petals, you think of, a darker environment, nice smell, not overwhelming or anything like that. And I really think the flowers, especially like a rose, is just a perfect environment for a date night or whatever you're doing. Now for the next situation, some people are going to go, Matt, you're crazy, and other people are going to be completely fine with it. Cleansing and purification. I'm not a super big believer in anything with regards to cleansing and spirituality, but I do like the smell of these. So I will happily recommend two when it comes to spiritual cleansing and stuff like that. Normally you're looking at a stronger smell for cleansings and purifications. Normally you're going to see sage and even frankincense. I have a frankincense here. And it is strong. And if you've ever been to a church or even different cultures and stuff like that, generally this is the type of incense they're burning. It is a strong and it elicits an emotion that kind of hard to describe, but it definitely is used for purification and spirituality. And I don't mind burning them once in a while. They're really nice. And it just gives a uplifting tone to the environment. So I'm completely fine with it. The next one is social gatherings. And what are we going to be burning at a nice social gathering? Everyone's got a good mood. You want to be a little bit uplifting, but you don't want to be overwhelming, right? You don't want to just be like, oh, that mint is very strong. You want to go with something a little lighter, but still upbeat and happy. Normally, I'm recommending something along the lines of something citrusy, or even sandalwood again is completely fine. But keep it up, keep it light. You don't want to overkill any party guests and be like, oh my God, I can't handle the smell of that. Because some people are a lot more sensitive than other ones. Now, when it comes to citrusy stuff, you're going to have a lot of play here. There's a lot of different types online. Lemon, lime, even like an orange if you can find it. Really nice, really light, and most people are completely fine with having a little smell in the background. Again, you don't want to overwhelm your guests, but that's something I would consider using if we're holding like a dinner party or something like that. Moving forward to our final situation, that is going to be seasonal scents. And normally I'm thinking about Christmas, even Thanksgiving to some extent. What are we looking at for the holidays, essentially? I really like cinnamon, just because whenever I think of Christmas, there's always those certain types of flavors and scents around. Cinnamon's always one of them that I think of. And also another one is pine. I always love the smell of like a fresh pine tree. And if you can find one that's like a pine aromatic, it's just so nice to add to the environment. It's so, it's just so nice. It's relaxing. It reminds me of Christmas. It reminds me of just having a good time with the family. And it's something nice to have in the background that's not overwhelming, but it's just nice to be there. And it really gives that holiday vibe. Now I have two things left to say at the end of this video. One is, if you use incense for a certain situation, let me know what you use. I'm curious. I'm always down to learn new things and try new incense because I love it. And also, if you're looking at learning a little bit more about incense, we have a completely free beginner's guide down below. I created the entire guide myself, and it, again, completely free, and it's down below if you're just wanting to learn a little bit more about incense. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding incense, feel free to leave a comment down below. My goodness, I'm enjoying playing with this. On that, you guys have a wonderful day. Take care, and I wish you all well.